That's not a knife. That's a knife. Welcome back, everybody. Faithful EDC here with you today. Today we have my Benchmade Bugout. This is a factory Gravity and S30V blade knife here. It did have a set of like gold thumb studs. I have swapped those out for black. Right now I am going to swap out the scales. So I have had these for just a little bit. I've been crazy busy and been wanting to shoot this video. So I have a set of Rips Garage Tech. These are machined aluminum scales. They are red aluminum, RGT USA. Huge shout out to Rips Garage Tech. I truly appreciate y'all helping me pick out this set of scales. The reason I went with Rips Garage Tech is for the lanyard hole here. So I know that there are a lot of other manufacturers out there that make aftermarket scales, and most of them have a slot. So if you have a slot on your lanyard hole back here, your lanyard wants to sit like this, and I just don't like that. So Rips Garage Tech, luckily, found a manufacturer that actually makes a lanyard hole that is exactly the same as the factory lanyard hole, and that coincides with the aftermarket backspacer, titanium backspacer that I have. So thank you very much, Rips Garage Tech, for making a great product and a lanyard hole that looks exactly like the factory. But let's get back to getting these scales swapped. Hang in there, sit tight. It's going to be a little bit of a long video. Let's go ahead and get rid of this lanyard here. We will tie a new one on afterwards. Will not be that color. So here we go. We are going to start with a pocket clip here. T6 hardware. Doing this for a camera is not easy, so kudos to everybody who tries to help and do a walkthrough on how to get these done. It is not easy to do on camera. So I did have a video like this filmed in the past, and well, let's just say it was a big fluff. So deleted that one, and we're starting over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my pocket clip over here and down the body in each coinciding spot here with the screws, because there are different size screws. And then this top one here up front. And then we're going to start on the other side. Luckily, these barrel spacers are locked, so we don't need to worry about them spinning. And luckily, they are also locked inside of the RGT scales. And then our next one here, these are all T6, and then the pivot is a T10. Make sure you have some kind of a parts tray here, because these screws fall out, they bounce. This one here I got from the TikTok shop. If you're interested, send me a message. I will look for the link. This thing is very helpful. Like I said, T10 on the pivot. And there we go. We are going to pull this first side off. We're going to pull our barrel spacers out. Back, front. And then we're just going to go ahead and completely tear this thing down. I'm going to clean off the bearing, or not the bearing. I'm going to clean off the brass washers and everything else. And we're just going to get it all ready to go. Fresh, clean, new Slick 'em all grease there. So yeah, we're going to push this pivot out. There's the pivot. We're going to be very, very careful as we take this apart. I do believe there are two different sides to the Phosphor Bronze washers, so make sure you pay attention to how they come out. Put them back in the same way they come off. We are going to move this up here, pull this back, pull our crossbar out, pull each side, and there you see it. Make sure you take note of which side is which. So I'm going to take this washer off. Wipe it down. Blade side is sticking up. And then again on this side here, take it off. Wipe it down with a little bit of a microfiber here. And blade side up. All right. There are tools for this. I personally can't use those tools. That was the failure point in my last video trying to do this. So if you guys can use the Flytanium tools, go for it. It just didn't work for me. So if you guys can get it to work, go for it. But it just doesn't work for me. All right, so we're going to start from the back side. That's where it starts. So here we go. We're going to pull this over. We are going to pull our liner. We are going to pull our liner screw here, which is the smallest screw out of the bunch. Don't want to tighten it all the way, just get it a little bit started there. And then our first screw here, like I said, it is notched, slotted. So that way it locks in there. Nope, can't do that. You guys are screaming through the video. I just heard it. I missed one step here. We do have to put our crossbar in, our Omega spring. See guys, even though I've wrote out all these steps, I've still forgotten. It's easy to do. Take your time and just work through it just how you took it apart. So there we go. Now we're ready. So we're going to take this small screw here. And like I said, just barely get it started. You don't need to tighten it up. And there is our locked pin. Just get a thread or two in. There you go. All right, now we're going to put we'll clean all these parts off as we go. We are going to put the pivot through the scale and through the liner here once I figure out where's the flat side at. There it is. There we go. Now I'm going to set that down on the table. I'm going to take my Slick-O-Mall here. I'm just going to put a dot. Doesn't take much, guys. This stuff should last you quite some time. Just a little dot. Couple dots, 3 dots, whatever you want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my washer, and like I said, the blade side was facing up. We're going to push that on there. Couple more dots of the Slick-O-Mall. You can use whatever oil you like. This Slick-O-Mall here I have been quite fond of, especially with Phosphor Bronze. Doesn't leave a lot of extra oil gunk running down the blade and stuff like that, but it gives you an excellent zero friction feel. And there we go. So now we're on there. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing for this other phosphor bronze washer. A couple dots here on the blade where the washer is gonna go. Like I said, it doesn't take much, just a little bit. Blade side was facing up, so we're gonna flip it over and put it on. Now we're gonna put a couple drops here on the washer. And then I'm going to suck that back through that syringe so it doesn't keep leaking out. Now, here's where the tricky part comes. This is where a lot of struggles happen, is you want to pull that back to get your crossbar lined up in there. Line it up, push your pivot through, and there you guys go. It's as easy as that. You can buy the tool, invest in the tool, use the tool, but I've taken apart multiple Benchmades here, and each one of them I have done without any specific specialty tool. Now that all that spring tension is holding that in, I am going to put our spacers in, which are T6 hardware. That is slotted to keep that in place and not spin. Sorry for taking so long. These are longer videos, and unfortunately it's going to be a back-to-back long video like this because we just did the Flytanium beef yesterday. But it was time. I needed to get these videos shot and done. I'm ready to be able to use my fancy new scales. There's my titanium backspacer, and we are going to go ahead and put this in. I'm going to run this around here real quick. It's got a lot of extra gunk build up there from whenever I had this in and shot this last time. I put a little Loctite in it. Wipe it down. There we go. Now, put that on there like that. And then you can work whichever way you want. I'm going to work from the pivot screw and start at front here. And yes, I would highly suggest putting a drop or two of blue Loctite on your pivot. With Benchmades here, the phosphor bronze washers need to be a little bit loose, and that could cause, if you do not Loctite it, it could inevitably start backing out. Sorry, I'm doing this where you guys can't see it. Here we go. Now, screw that guy down. We're going to save this last one for last here, because that does assist in centering the blade. And the other reason is because it is not the easiest to get in. So, small screw, no fingernails, it could be difficult to get in. Could potentially need to put a screwdriver in there of some sort. Nope, I got it. Check out the centering. Looks good. Go ahead and lock these down. Double check all the other T6s here. You want to double check, really double check, make this one sure this one's locked, because once you get that pocket clip on, you cannot get to that screw. And there we go. And I knocked both of them out. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? I'm only trying to do this for a video, right? No sense in not struggling doing it, right? And then our last screw here. You can kind of see that through the hole there. Sometimes you got to move your pocket clip around just a little bit to find that slot or hole location. And there you guys go. Now, let's open up, or let's adjust our drop on our check the blade play. Not bad. See how smooth that is with that Slick-em-all? You don't get that. I mean, you do, but you get a lot of extra mess with your other blade oils. And like I said, I'm going to add a drop of this. I'm going to play with it for just a little bit, break it in, make sure it's exactly where I want it before I Loctite that up, and do that off camera. But there you guys go. Thank you very much, Rips Garage Tech, again, for helping me source these scales. Truly do appreciate it. I absolutely love the aluminum scales that you sent out and that I got here. Don't get me wrong, I like the lightweight version of that, but white and me don't get along. So there we go. Benchmade Bugout Rips Garage Tech scale swap. Completely done. No specialty tools, just a couple screwdrivers. But thank you all very much. Hope you all enjoyed. Apologize for it so long and drawn out, but that's what it takes. I hope you all had a wonderful day, and as always, take care and God bless.